Your main man back, Jack. We're going to do Forgotten Realms AD&D Second Edition. We're going to be talking about the Forgotten Realms official game accessory, the Moonsea. You can see with absolutely ridiculous cover art that my son likes to point out every single time I'm sitting in my black leather recliner beside his black leather recliner, enjoying this. We got like a setup like from the show Friends in here. um, and you can see, the guy, he's got a big loaf of, I don't know, French bread or Italian bread, and he's jacking my man in the neck with it. I don't know if this is like just some slush art, excuse me, that they had laying around. They tried to position it to some degree. I know that they did things like that for sure, and they reused art as well. There's a lot of that going on in AD&D Second Edition, certainly to the discreditment of that edition of the game. But I mean, that is pretty fucking stupid looking, right? Still, this is a good book. Uh, the cover price in U.S. is £12.95, £16.95 in Canada, £7.99 in the UK. At the time of its publishing, or the time it was printed, that was 1995. I got this book at cover price from a game store, Atomic Comics, the owner I've known forever, and he had it up for $30, brand new in the cellophane. I said, why not the cover price instead of that for $12.95? And he went, oh, all right, and he gave it to me for $12.95, which I bought some other things from him, and of course I've spent a lot of money in the store. So, but let's take a look at it. This book is multiple components. It's almost like a mini box set. So you have this, and this comes off, right? So it has inner flap. There's nothing bound to this. There was no binding. You can see the front and the back. That common second edition Forgotten Realms gray that we know so well. We can see some maps in here, and maps are one of the grand things there. Uh, for me, if I'm looking at Dungeons and Dragons books, I want monster ecologies, monsters, and I want like fiddly bits for classes, and I want gazetteers for any kind of world that I actually want to do. I don't run Mystara or Greyhawk or Dragonlance. So I don't care about that stuff, but I do Forgotten Realms and Planescape, and at some point I plan to do Dark Sun. I never have, but I plan to do it. So gazetteers of those worlds are very interesting to me. We can see that. So the interior of this, you can lay it flat, and it's just another map. So that's quite nice. It comes with, I'm making sure I have the right one because I have one of my other maps from a different book in here because I've been using this one. So I don't want to open this because the map is old, but you can see the other map here. See Vasa, and you see the Great Gray Land of Thar. So Thar is like northeast of Flan. The game has mostly been taking, well, I'm running Planescape, but it has started and is now currently back in Forgotten Realms because we're like 18 months in. So in this area up here, there is the Silver Sun Manor, and shout out to my boy Nick over at Black Lodge Games, Balthazar, if you will. So we have Flan, and the players are now just really making their way into Flan, making their way into that political scene. We'll be doing that this Saturday. I run my game every other Saturday. We run for, what do we run for? 8.5, 9 hours, something like that. So it came with a map. It comes with the stuff on the inside cover, and then it comes with two little booklets, right? These are really common in box sets in the AD&D second edition time period, and this book is very nice. Um, you have information about Melvant, about Zenel Keep, about Ulash, about the Citadel of the Raven, Tesh Wave. You have, of course, Flan. That was information that obviously is the most important and useful to me. Testia, I've never actually used that. Holberg, it's kind of flipping through here. We see Elmwood, I think Elven Tree as well, Mulemaster, um, and then it's just miscellaneous myths, rumors, legends of the Moonsea. It's really great stuff. The Gold Box game, which you can get, I forget which website it is. I got all of them for $10, like all of the Gold Box games. There's like 9 or 11 of them in there. So they're like $1 a game. You can play through that until you get bored with it. Maybe you want to play the whole thing. A Polar Radiance it takes place in Flan. I think you can actually go to Flan and Crusades or Bonds too. Um, Here is another map. Very, very, very nice. Very nice. Um, Here's another one. So you really had a lot of great stuff going on in this edition for the realms. It was very nice. But this is the player's guide. So you give this to your players if you wanted to have them like play insiders. This wouldn't be for like someone who's wandering from say Symbio or Cormyr or further further away like say in the unapproachable east or the shining south or Baldur's Gate Waterdeep, Elmport, someplace like that. So but this is for an insider player. You'd let them have this to go through, and I sort of illuminated some of the cities. It's essentially a lot of city states up there. Um, so we have the introduction. We have a history of the area. You go through and find out. Flan's been around for 1,000 years. We got informational hills far, which is very xenophobic, human centric. Probably not in fifth edition, but you need to have that. You need to have that darkness, that racism, that xenophobia. These are things that would certainly be in a fantasy world and want to create something that's real, not something that caters to the sensibility of mental weaklings. You want to get in there and stimulate the mind's eye. That's what you're trying to do, right? You got Zeno Keep, you got the Citadel of Ravens, another piece of artwork that is real interesting. They go through on a granular level. They'll talk about the temples that are in this city. They'll talk about the Watch, the Thieves Guild, the various plot hooks for adventure, for things that you can do in there that are going to stimulate and add quite a lot of it in there. Quite a lot of entertainment, quite a lot of enjoyment, right? Moonlar, Elven Tree, Melvaunt. There's so many places in the Moonsea. Well, here's a map of Melvaunt. So you have these set of maps, and that can really help the players, right? So go, you're in the town, okay? You're in the city. All right. Well, what do I say? When you can show them and produce that map, when you can start talking about details about the city, talk about the center market. You can talk about the manor houses, the temples, the shipyards, those sort of things. And right here, we're looking at Melvaunt. We see there's number 8, the Temple of Gon. Number 9, the Temple of Lyra. Number 10, the Temple of Lovatar. So that can sort of shape, right? Because these are gods of different alignments, gods that have different portfolios. And that can be very interesting, right? If you start making that reconciliation with what are these people, who are these people. And in my mind, people in the Moonseas are kind of like Eastern European. These are people from the Balkans. These are people from Russia. That's and I think they've always been irritatingly attempting to obscure those things. But that's what it seems. That's what it seems to be in that area to me. Uh, whereas say like an Eluskin would be like your Nordic people. You look at Moonshays, that's like ancient Ireland. Is clearly Spain. So we have Flan. Here's a map of Flan. This is really an excellent source book. Um, I would say it would have been worth the $30. I don't know what one goes for on eBay right now because I did not eBay this. I was lucky enough to find it on a shelf. Um, I don't know. I did it in one of my pickup videos. I must have found it maybe over a year ago. I'm not exactly sure, but little pictures like this too, because we're talking about the Moonsea. That's a very large area. There's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of ancientness there. There's wars. There's dragons. There's giants. There's hordes of orcs. There's gnolls. There's all kinds of stuff. I mean, they even fucking have Thrycrin in them. So, and the fact that it's also detailed in a video game, it's also detailed in novels. There's a lot to go in there, and not just Zental Keep, because that's kind of the everything else gets sort of washed off in the shadow of Zental Keep, right? But this is a place, where you're going to have Bane, where you're going to have Cyric, where you're going to have a lot of potentially major issues. You can see a picture of, I think, a drow there. At least I'm guessing that's a drow. Uh, One of these spiders here, I take umbrage with the art. You can see legs coming out of its cephalothorax, which would be like putting a person's legs in their head. They're not quite like that. But really, just a lot another piece of art. I think that's a druid. So really, the under Elmwood, right? You have that talks about the sewers and the hidden compartments and Flan. And to me, I don't need every square inch detailed out, right? Just give me plot hooks. Give me a space to let my imagination run free and wild. That's really what I want. I want to be able to drink it in that way. That's such a great thing to do. Yeah, so that has been my review of this. And summation, you get two maps, you get two, or excuse me, you get one map, you get two booklets, and on the inside of the cover, there's some additional maps and artwork throughout. Very nice. I think this is an excellent product if you're running Forgotten Realms, and I'm all the way up in DR 1375. And while this was printed before that time period, I still find it very useful for my game. And I think if you're going to run the Moonseas, it's probably something you're going to find very useful as well. And you can always, take things kind of pull them as shadows at a time. Like, okay, well, that actually took place here with this, that, and the next thing. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I might give spoilers to my players who do watch my videos. But that's something that you're going to want to have. You're going to want to have that rich history at your fingertips. You can just kind of have various characters give this soundbite and that soundbite and this soundbite and this, but you could also just say, well, that did happen in 1348, but we're going to play it now. Or maybe you do some kind of flashback and you let them see something in the past. You let some chronomancy type spell take place and let them involve in these things. Let them get involved in Bane and the shadows of a Fang getting yanked up as a shadow, or the war with giants or dragons or Monder, all these things you can bring in and more. So don't let the past be a reason that you don't use things in your game today. So there's always your main man with yet another review for you, baby.